Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with the Higher Vibrational Podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. We just love you. And if you feel you want to chat, just hit the chat button and we'll answer your questions. We have a wonderful guest here. She is a regular on our guest. She's been on our show before. It's Kathleen Sherman, and many of you guys out there are watching will remember her, or those who are new will definitely contact her. She's amazing. She is a shamanic, medical intuitive, and so much more. Welcome, Kathleen, for being on our show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And a little bit about me, I'm basically a channeler. And so I do medical intuition. I learned first and then realized I was a shaman and basically a channeler, but I'm definitely a medium. And the cool thing is what I do for a living is I help others by doing readings, but I also help teach them how to do this work too, because we're all beautifully, we're all divine. And I am an author of 2 books, and that's what my books are called.
Bring those books up. She's got, I tell you what, it's very popular. She's an awesome author. Yeah, and that was is that your first book, Kathleen?
This was my first book. This one is the story, and it's so funny. And we're going to talk today about how being intuitive helps you in your life. And basically, once you start to learn how to use your spiritual tools, which we'll talk about, you end up, like this book, I didn't ever think I'd write a book. You told me I was going to write a book and numerous other people. And I was like, what book? Okay, what the heck? And I'm like, I got to be doing this forever to do that. And then I sat down, a couple years in and Spirit's like, sit down and write your book. We cleared your schedule. Like, and so in that time, I sat down and I said, what am I writing? And my guides, my helpers, my divine team said, sit down, you're going to write your story about your life and about your awakening. And so that it can help others on their path, because there's so much that we don't understand by, that we haven't been taught. And so this is the book about that. So this was my experience of my spiritual awakening. And then it's to help people that are just want to tap their toe into this world and go, what does this mean? And it kind of gives 11 guided meditations to help you to know what the violet flame is, how to clear your space, how to not be how to have your own empowerment, so that the things that you maybe have been taught or, especially from TV and things like that, aren't really real. And it's a beautiful, deep connection that you can have with yourself. And then after I wrote that book, Spirit said, sit down and do it again. And I was like, okay. And the second book is a channeling book. It's how to channel. It's everything that Spirit wanted you to know on channeling. And that one they're both, you're not crazy. The first one's your guide to step into your soul's true purpose. And this one is you're simply a psychic medium, a guide to awaken your divine psychic abilities. And so this helps you to unwrap your spiritual gifts and abilities. It teaches you how to work with your divine team. It teaches you how to meet your spirit guides and your angels and your helpers. It teaches you how to do some divination, like how to draw an oracle card, how to clear your space, how to set intentions, which is very important. And so those things are to help people on their path, because I think that, Sherry, if you're like me, I had some people that popped in, but at first I had some rough experiences. And so that's why I sat down, and Spirit's like, well, you want to help people? This is how. So write these books so that they can understand how to do some of this work. And so those books, but also, I do readings, and it's really kind of cool, because what I do is unique. And sometimes it's a mediumship reading, and sometimes it's a medical intuitive reading, energy, like I can see this kind of energy in your body, whatever. And the cool thing is we all have those gifts and abilities. And so while I'm working with somebody doing energy work, or, through the reading, I'm teaching the person how to do it with me, which is, it's like we're doing it together. I'm grabbing their hand and going, come on, let's show you how to do this. You can help heal yourself. And so that's really what it's all about. Yeah.
How can they get a hold of your book? And how do you have the website? Is it on Amazon? I mean, how can people get a hold of your books?
There's numerous ways to purchase my books. You can buy them online, but right through my website, the www.kathleenshermanhealing.net. If you go there, it explains everything in the books. I also have courses online. One of the courses that was really important, that is really good for social workers and therapists and things like that. Even, all types of different people that may not understand how energy works, how to clear space or clear your energy when you're working with somebody. There's spiritual hygiene courses, and my books cover a lot of the spiritual hygiene as well. But if you go to my website, it has all. So you can get it on Apple Books, you can get it on Amazon, you can get them all over the place. And so all the links are right through my website.
That's great. That's awesome. And you were talking about intuitive tools or tools to help people. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, what you like to share with our audience?
Absolutely. So why would you tap into spirituality? A lot of people just go to readers and they're like, just give me a reading. I don't want to do this myself. And I'm like, but don't you know how cool it is? It is so amazing. And if you're like me, I'll have family members and friends call me up and go, can you tell me what's up with this relationship? Or, can you help me out? And I'm like, you could do a lot of this too. And when you learn how to go within, tap into those inner senses, that's why I wrote especially the second book, because it teaches you how to connect. We're a spiritual antenna. You're born that way. It's natural. It's your natural gifts and abilities. And you're probably already using it. Everybody's already using their spiritual gifts and abilities. They just don't understand. So you can fine tune it. And by understanding, knowledge is power. And so when you understand, spirit has shown me in a very cool way, the way that I see in my mind's eye, how to help others open up their third eye and experience it. There's a course, there's a free course. There's a couple free courses on my website that are, one of them is how to open your third eye. And one of the biggest tips, and why would you want to open your third eye? Because you can see, sense, and feel things. And it just helps you to understand more about it so that you can open up those gifts and abilities, so you can be more knowledgeable, so that maybe, going for a regular job, or, and you're trying to go for another job, or you have your higher energy that you can connect in with your higher self and your spirit guides and helpers that you can have a conversation with or connect with. Or even if it's with a set of oracle cards or tarot cards. These are tools, these spiritual tools, and they're beautiful gifts from God. And just like we are a connection. We have a connection to that spark of light that we call God's source. And that interconnection means that we're always tapped and tuned in, but we kind of lose our connection. Our connection gets kind of corroded. And so what doing this does, by opening up into your spirituality, helping to learn how to run your energy, which means connecting into the divine. Or if you were to imagine you had what I tell people, especially in my second book, is how to connect in, how to clear those connections, and how to envision your breath and your imagination is how you do this work. It's really kind of fun. And if you can learn how to tap into those abilities, you're kind of tapping into your inner playfulness, your inner child that wants to play, wants to have fun, wants to dream big, right? And those big dreams, and that becomes a superhuman connection that helps us to tap into those higher powers of ourself and the higher powers from Earth, which is the Divine Mother. And you basically are the spiritual ladder between the two worlds. And so that's why they call, mediumship. That's why, it's so funny, because I wrote the second book. It's about channeling and mediumship, which is tapping in, meeting your guides, understanding what that means, who they are, why they're there, your angels. And basically doing that is strengthening that connection with the divine. I see it as a DNA strand a lot of times, or the stairway to heaven that exists within our conscious energy field, which is in our physical body and energetic body, that connects us heaven and earth. And so we are this bridge between heaven and earth. And that's why they call it mediumship, because we are the medium in between the two divine, between heaven and earth, which are both divine. And so we have these, and we come from source as well. So source, God, creator, whatever you want to say. So we have these innate built-in abilities that were always built into our energy bodies. And all we have to do is figure out how to turn on the light bulb. And you do that with your mind and imagination. And it's just amazing. So how do you tap in? The first tool I would say is learning how to do any kind of meditation or energy clearing and using your imagination, AKA third eye, that helps you to, and with your breath, like breath work, meditation, these things. And as a matter of fact, as a medical intuitive, shamanic medical intuitive, so I use shamanism and medical intuition, blend it all together with energy healing. And when I look into people's energy field and do a reading, the ones who regularly, and even if you don't go beyond doing some clearing meditations, the ones that do clearing meditations for themselves, even just, chant ones that they listen to on, like on whatever, an app or on YouTube or somebody's website, they are so much more energetically clean. Their connections are more clean than anybody else because they are setting intentions to clear that energy. Also, I was going to say yoga. Yoga is another spiritual tool that people do not understand. And this last year, yoga has helped me so much. And Sherry, you had told me years ago, you got to do yoga. And it took me a long time to get into it, but yoga means union. And it's the same thing. Yoga is an amazing tool when they say, imagine a line that's, that is your central channel. That is you connecting with that divine source energy. And so when you're doing yoga, you're helping to release stagnant and stuck energy from your physical body, which in turn helps release stagnant and stuck energy from your energetic body. So think of it like a battery that sometimes gets corroded. That's kind of what happens with the physical densities of the physical earth. And if you can wash that away in your mind, just like a meditation would, those things really help to release what I call sometimes like barnacles that get stuck in our energy field and block us up. So what happens is you help rise up to a little bit of a higher frequency. It helps you connect in with a higher frequency of more love and light. And it helps you be more of a clear channel to connect in. Basically, like think about your wiring system is more intact, more clear. The way that I teach it in my book is to envision that you are a spiritual antenna, because we're a spiritual antenna. We're a radio receiver. And so spirit has shown me how to put that into somebody, like imagine that. It's a great way with the tree of life to imagine that you are connecting in to the stars and to your guides and your helpers, and to be more aware in your physical life of things that are happening. And so, you always have, we all have experiences of you go into a place and you feel like, oh, this is like danger, danger, Will Robinson type of feeling. You're just like, all of a sudden something's not right. Or you go, I don't want to walk in there, or I don't want to go that direction. Something doesn't feel right. Or you may even have a little voice inside your head go, turn back around, go that direction. Those are your spirit guides, helpers, your higher self talking to you, giving you a little bit of a warning or giving you some guidance in a different direction to help you. Maybe, it may be something simple that is, there may be a bridge out and you might take 2 hours to get around town. Or it may be something that saves your life. And so, in the mainstream, I remember going through lots of classes and, getting various jobs. And I'm talking more like most of them were like when I was a teenager and they were like, working at, a fast food joint or something like that. And they always put you in a little room and they made you watch a video. And most of them said, if there's something that you have a gut instinct about, listen to it. And even in a hospital that I worked in for a long time, for 20 years, that was one of the biggest things. They said, if you feel that something off, you drop whatever you're doing and use your gut instinct. And so this is obviously known very well. And if you can start to learn how to listen to that gut instinct and just realize that you are an open channel for this divine flow of love and light from the source, then it helps flood you with light. It helps you to rise up, and it helps you to connect. And so not only those type of situations, but another one, and I'll say when I worked in a hospital, I worked in a job and I had a hard time in a billing department. I had a hard time. This job, I normally got things because I was pretty intuitive, but didn't know it. And, all along. And the experiences I had in that job helped me out with the medical intuitive piece that I do now. And actually, I was doing that all along, a lot of the time for people. I was using my intuition without realizing it. And eventually one day I went in and, thank you. I almost forgot what I was going to say. I went in and I thought, I cannot figure this job out. I'd been doing it for almost 2 years and I was frustrated. And I'm like, I just can't seem to get this job. And a friend of mine said, why don't you call on a specialty helper? And I'm like, oh yeah. Why didn't I think of that? And it kind of popped up. And so this is where my mediumship and spiritual tools came in. And I went, okay, can I please connect in with a beautiful divine helper that will, like a spirit guide that will help me figure this job out? Because actually that's all I really needed to do, because I was switching to doing this for a living. And it was one of my last lessons before I could leave there. And it was so funny. I'll tell you the story. She reminded me of Flo from the 1970s show, like she was in a diner, and she had a beehive. So she was like from the 70s. So a lot of our spirit guides are human. And she was a human spirit that was someone who was like a really good secretary, or probably ran the whole business in her lifetime. And she showed me having fake nails, and she was typing on an old-fashioned typewriter, and which in this time is definitely, I mean, I was looking at a computer and chomping on her gum, and she's like, I got you, girl. And I was like, thank you so much. And it's so funny because one thing a lot of people, they think that if they meet their guides, like they should be able to hear everything they say. That's not the case every time. Like I have a good ability with doing this for years and honing these abilities of just sitting and going, what do I need to know? And hearing it in a live conscious stream of, communication with my guides. But for that one, I was busy trying to do the job and understand. And so I had to figure out how to do both worlds. That was actually kind of tough. And what happened is I didn't hear a thing. I just went in the next day. I did this work. I did this little meditation. Thank you so much. I thanked this guide. She's still with me in my business, by the way. And the next morning I walked into work, sat down, and it's like I just knew how to do stuff. And I have no idea. It's like the stream of communication, just everything that it didn't make sense. It didn't compute in my brain. All of a sudden, it was like magic. It just made sense. And I'm like, how did I have such a problem with this before? And I seriously, and then I literally was moving towards doing this for a living. And so this is how I wanted to tell that story, because it was a really cool story for me. That guide made such a big change in my life to help me help myself. And that was like a hurdle that I needed to jump over, that I needed to move through, I should say, in order to learn what I needed to learn. And so these lessons in life, sometimes, like that, I'm like, why can't I just do this for a living? I'm supposed to do this. But I had to learn a few things first before I could. I had to learn a lot of things, right? And spiritual people that do this work, we've done our inner work. We've dug in, and basically we dug down to the deepest parts of our consciousness to help heal ourselves. And that is a part of doing this.
Wow. No, that is amazing. And I, you're beautiful inside and out. And we're so happy. We love having you on our show. And, and you have such wealth of information for people. And you helped a lot of people throughout your journey as well. So I think that is wonderful. And why do people have a hard time? I mean, I know why, but what do you tell people because I like to get, everyone's got their own little perspective and how they do things. They get fearful and they're not grounded. So what do you recommend to the people who are kind of going through life, but they're still afraid, and they're not getting clarity? They're kind of wandering a little bit, but they need to ground. Is there a technique or a tool you can share with our audience?
A lot of times, it's really cool because if there are so many spiritual things out there that you can do, there's Qigong and Tai Chi, like Tai Chi. I love Qigong, actually. I love Qigong. You can play a video with a Taoist or a Buddhist, whatever, monk on YouTube for free, and basically just sitting. This was one of my favorite grounding techniques, is just sitting and just kind of bouncing for a second, bouncing. And you know what? I think that we kind of get our heads in the clouds sometimes when we're trying to tap in. I do have to say, as a medical intuitive, a lot of times people don't want to come down. They want to keep their head in the clouds because they don't want to deal with the stuff that's going on in the physical world here.
Exactly.
But it kind of breaks them in two. It kind of splits them apart in a way. When I look at their energy field, I'll say, oh, you aren't grounded. And so it can make them kind of feel not so great. And realize that if you can basically imagine yourself, there's another one. The tree is probably the best one that I can think of. Like I said, we are connected to both worlds, and we are, if you think of what a tree does, this is my Celtic tree. I love. It's a sacred geometry charging plate, but it has the picture on it that I always show people. And if you can imagine your roots going down into the earth, and I love Celtic knot because that's how I see the spirit, because we have a channel of light that goes heaven to earth through the middle of our body. And it's like the trunk of the tree. And if you can imagine that you can send the roots from your root chakra, your low pelvis, and your feet down into the earth, and use your imagination to do that, your third eye, and take a breath and send that energy into the earth, and imagine locking into the deep earth system. That's the divine mother source energy. And then breathe it back up through your body. And when you breathe it back up, it helps you feel down. It helps you to go down and ground with the earth. Now, putting your feet on bare ground, sand, grass is the best thing. It's kind of hard. I live in Michigan in winter, but I will go out. I will go out and put my bare feet, except for when it's really muddy. It's gross and slimy. And then you connect in the same way and imagine, like I said, those spiritual antenna, their spiritual antenna, just like what trees have and plants do. They also interconnect to the other plant vegetation underneath the earth. And they all have mycelium, I think is the word. And they all have these interconnections. And so we have those as well in life. But if you can connect in and imagine these tree roots going up into the heavens and plugging in, that those two plugins help you run energy like a big loop. So not just grounding, but connecting to divine above and below, masculine, feminine. And it is the 69, or both the male and masculine, feminine energies that should rotate. And that is one of the first things that I teach people, because you have to clear, I call it the Roto-Rooter, because we get all this junk that's just stuck in our energy field. And once you learn how to imagine just cleaning that out and letting it just be washed away, it's kind of like what do you call it? When you like dialysis, it's like an energetic dialysis. That's a good way of putting it. And so if you can just set the intention, and how you do that, you just imagine it and you set the intention of doing it, and you do it. You clear out a lot of junk or baggage or fears and worries, and it helps you to be right with source and just interconnected, and it helps fill your heart with light. And I do have to say, a lot of people especially get stuck, and we kind of talked about that a little bit, and I think I'm going to talk on that a little bit, if that's okay. A lot of people get stuck in the monotony and the craziness and the chaos that's going on in the physical world. But if you can find ways to disconnect or release all that entanglement from all of that chaos that's going on in the world, it's going to help you to shine your light a little bit more, turn your light on in your heart, And when you do that, you are more connected to creator, but the creator and the divine inside you. That, like I call it, the inner little Buddha that we all have, the inner higher self that's right in our heart space. And when you can start to tap into that, you disconnect from the chaos of the outside world, the 3D world that we're in, and you get back with who you are originally. You are a being of light that comes from source. And you have that connection through your chakra system to the heavens and to the earth.
Yeah.
You also have that connection to your guides. You can meet them all in here in your heart. And so those are great ways in imagining what that may look like. Your loved ones that have crossed and the ones that are helping you on your path.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people really feel alone, especially in crazy times like this has been, in the world. But realize that you have all the guidance. You're never alone because you have all these helpers.
Yeah.
And so I remember feeling very lonely, and especially when I started waking up spiritually and going, I don't know. But you know what? Spirit has always put me in the most, if you can learn how to let go of those worries and eject them, release them, and move forward, it will help you to live a better life, a more stable, balanced, connected life. And it helps you be a beacon of light. And that beacon of light that you are, you share out in the world and you affect others. And it helps cheer them up. It helps them. And so those little mycelium, those little connections that we have, it's kind of like the mother tree in Avatar, if anybody's seen that. And she's this beautiful etheric tree of light. And she's the best I can explain of what we really look like underneath. And those interconnections, we kind of touch others with that light, with that love, and it affects them. And so I remember stories of, like when I was growing up, like Touched by an Angel in those shows where the angel would come and sit and talk to somebody. Well, they are around you too, but we also act like that as well when we rise up and get out of our human experience and realize who we really are and open up to that expansive, divine, delicious connection that we have. It's intoxicatingly beautiful. And you don't need drugs. You don't need any of those things to do this work. It's all inherent. And you just need to learn how to open up. And so those are the tools. When you can connect with that, you could go work anywhere. You could go do anything. You could be in a dark, dank place where people are mad, and you can, go, I share my light out and I just expand it out. You don't have to, have a bunch of, you don't have to bring anything in or worry about anything coming at you, because when you shine your light out, that's all you need. And you shine and you don't have to worry about things from the outside. It helps you to put things into perspective and understand things on a higher level. And that's why they call it oracle. We're all really an oracle. We just have to learn how to let go of our belief systems that we've been taught and allow ourselves to rise up to a new expansive energy. Yeah.
And again, do you have any upcoming events or anything you're working on that you want to share before we close?
Yes, I do. I am going to be, I've been doing some things at Choices Unlimited in Richland. I'm thinking about teaching some classes. So if you're interested, get onto my website, KathleenShermanHealing.net, and sign up. I'm going to be I'm thinking about this winter, probably teaching some classes on medical intuition and things like that. I'm also going to be doing an in-person retreat in Michigan, in Augusta, Michigan, November 15th. And I'm in the process of probably a 3-day retreat in the spring.
Yay.
So, yeah, that one's not set yet, but that's how it works. You just kind of wait and you're like, ooh, connection with spirit. Like, ooh, what do I do? And I call it the trickle-in effect. It just comes in on its own when it's divinely right. Yes.
No, that's amazing. And bring your books back up. And I want you to, again, tell people how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And, where they can get your books. And I think it's very important. These books are amazing. You guys are really going to enjoy her books. You're going to get a lot out of it. And you can use it as you are reading it. You can use her techniques. So I think it's of value very much.
Yep. And so the first book they both teach you how to do this work. The first book tells my story, which was kind of wild, and tells you some of the things that are out there that aren't always positive, but how to clear those things or how to know that you're safe. around anything. And so the second book is really an intensive channeling book. It's how to channel, but I also do a lot of readings, and I do readings with medical intuition, shamanism, mediumship, psychic abilities. And I also mentor. I also do mentoring with people on their own terms for whatever it is they want to learn about, how to, because a lot of people get stuck and they're like, I've hit a wall, and they're like, I saw you, and, you know, and I'm like, perfect. Then Spirit's sending you my way. And if that's the case, I love to do mentoring with people and help them to open up and to understand one-on-one, and in the retreat levels too. The retreats that I've been doing have been more group access. I do sound healings and stuff as well. I do all kinds of stuff. It's just really fun. So I've learned how to play and have fun doing what I love to do and sharing my purpose out with others. And so I help you to find, you know, what it is you feel like you've been missing. So I help guide you in that direction and help you to open up your gifts and abilities as well.
I think that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely have you back, Kathleen. We love having you. We love having you. You always have a wealth of knowledge and information and clarity for all who are listening and who needed this today, and as it keeps running for months on our podcast and everything else that we do with it. We just want to say thank you. We want to thank all our listeners that are here. We just want to thank you for following us and for watching us, and make sure to join our YouTube. Like us on YouTube and you'll get who's coming weekly. And if you want to know who's coming on our website, go to www.sherrylord.com, go to Spirituality Authors Podcast, and you will see Kathleen's information, and you will get all our guests we've had, and plus who's coming up weekly. So thank you, and thank you, Kathleen. Blessing all. Have an amazing day.
International psychic medium and podcast host Sherry Lord. She is one of the most sought after psychic mediums. Book your special readings. Go to www.sherrylord.com.